call to order the regular Board of Education meeting. It's Monday, October 13th at 6 p.m. The Board of Education makes available at least one current copy of the Open Meetings Act, which is posted on the west wall of the meeting room and accessible to members of the public. Will you please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance with me?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Next up, the consent agenda. Do I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 approve the consent agenda as presented, including approval of minutes of the regular Board of Education meeting on September 8, 2025, approval of the proposed accounts for payment, approval of budgetary receipts and expenditures for September 2025, approval of budget hearing and property tax hearing minutes for September 8, 2025, approval of minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting on September 22, 2025, approval of option students, and excusing absences of Eric Book and Brooke Gleason.
Okay, thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Brandon. Jason, do you have a treasurer's report?
I do. So, treasurer's report for the month of August. Expenses, payroll was $1,940,975.31. Bills were $685,575.90, which brought total expenses to $2,626,551.21. Revenue was $3,442,430.41. Just a note, typically revenue for the month of September is a little higher, so it's lower this year because of the legislative change from the state school property tax relief fund, which in turn went to reduce property taxes for taxpayers. Now the state will reimburse schools in February and April to make them whole again, and that amount is prorated based on the percentage that is allocated on a statewide basis. So all that money is taken in, and then it's prorated based on a statewide basis on the amount on a percentage of tax that your particular county takes in. The state pays that back to you. So in essence, we don't get the same amount of tax up front that we typically do, so we have to have the cash flow to carry ourselves until January, which we should have. So that's just how the legislature changed things to implement the school property tax relief fund.
Okay. Any other questions for Jason on the treasurer report? Seeing none, are there any items from the consent agenda that the board would like to pull off for further discussion? All right, seeing none, can I have your votes, please? And motion passes. All right, next up, outstanding recognition, employee of the month, Dr. Nielsen.
Hey, good evening. I am going to turn it over to Ms. Jamie Bader and Mr. James Ford. Yes.
We would like to congratulate the Employee of the Month for October, Dr. James Watts, a science teacher at Beatrice High School whose impact stretches far beyond the classroom. Dr. Watts embodies the spirit of a dedicated educator, consistently going above and beyond to enhance the school environment for both students and staff. Dr. Watts has been nominated for his fantastic job in relationship building with students and being truly dynamic educator in all facets. His dedication is especially clear as his role as the esports coach. Recognizing the value of this rapidly growing area, that he hosts esports camps during the summer. These camps provide engaging activities for middle school students and serve as a crucial pathway to connect them with the high school program. His peers have noted that his energy this school year is infectious, fostering a more engaging atmosphere in the hallway. He interacts with the students in a professional and interactive way, looking to maximize everyone's potential with unwavering positivity. A true proponent of continuous growth, Dr. Watts actively seeks out professional development to ensure he provides strong instructional practices in the science classroom. This commitment doesn't stop with him. He makes it a priority to share his professional learning he acquires with his colleagues, elevating the instruction across the school. This year, his expertise has been recognized on a broader level. He was selected to present at the prestigious Future of Education Technology Conference. His presentation titled Leveling Up Without Burning Out, Empowering High School Esports Through Valor. highlights his innovative approach to blending technology, student engagement, and overall wellness. Dr. Watts' commitment is not limited to his specific roles. He has been an instrumental part of developing and enhancing our systems at Beatrice High School. He steps up to serve the school in many capacities, from sponsoring activities to supporting students who need help. As one nominator passionately stated, he does it because he wants our school to be the best that it can be for our students at BHS. His blend of engaging lessons planning, unwavering support for students, and commitment to system-wide improvement makes Dr. Watts a most deserving choice for Employee of the Month. Congratulations, Dr. Watts.
And you may not be here for an esports presentation. Just FYI.
Can we get all of you up here for a picture? Yeah.
Grab that too. Yeah.
Slide over out
Okay.
of
Get out of the way of the TV.
the way the TV would be great.
If you want to, you can, but you don't have to. So.
All right, congratulations, Dr. Watts. Move on to the information portion of the meeting, and first up is student update. Brooke cannot be with us tonight. They are preparing for state softball, but she did provide the report, so I will go ahead and read that for you guys. Starting with the preschool hosted its first family event. We organized a tailgate at the preschool and then invited our families to attend the volleyball game to support our preschool teacher and volleyball coach, Miss Ava. The elementary school has been busy with routines and learning. They're very excited to see progress with their new reading series, CKLA. It's amazing to see how much knowledge our students are gaining from this new program. It's a big change for the teachers, and they are very proud of everyone's hard work. They also enjoy watching the morning announcements through the live broadcast. If you ever want to find out what's happening at BES, search Beatrice Elementary on YouTube and watch the news daily. At the middle school, the Beatrice Middle School's fall sports are beginning to wind down. Football has improved throughout the year, while volleyball has had consistent success in its matches. Volleyball is heading into the Trailblazer Conference tournament next week. Cross country has also had a successful fall. The girls have consistently finished in the top 2 as a team all season, while the boys have won most of their contests. BMS is preparing for Red Ribbon Week at the end of this month. They will host a week of dress-up days, activities, and messages about drug and alcohol prevention. At the high school, football hosted its Pink Out game against Waverly. Volleyball will also host a Pink Out game on October 16th against Lincoln Northwest, where they will be raising money for a community member. Our Lady O softball and golf teams both won the conference championship. The softball team just beat Elkhorn in the district final to qualify for state, which begins Wednesday, I believe. They will play Hastings on Wednesday at 11:30. The players and coaches worked incredibly hard this season. The production of the musical Into the Woods was a great success. The students delivered an outstanding performance, and we had a strong attendance and positive feedback from the community. The high school recently held parent-teacher conferences, and 60% of the families attended. We appreciate all the families who came to support their students' progress. Our strength coach, Jordan Johnson, was recognized by the Nebraska Strength Coach Organization. He has gone above and beyond for our student athletes. And then just a reminder, the first quarter officially ends on October 16th. That ends Brooke's report. Next up, board reports. Stance.
We haven't had a meeting yet, so there is no stance report yet. Typically, the first meeting is the 1st of November, so.
Okay. Committee of the whole. Doris.
The Board of Education Committee of the Whole meeting was held on Monday, September 22nd, 2025. Mr. Hakey and Mr. Stengel gave a middle school update for their portion of the strategic plan. Mr. Alexander shared that he had some very preliminary conversations about middle school gym air conditioning. President Trusty has been in communication with the NASB about the superintendent evaluation. And Mr. Alexander closed with talking about a proposed mini board retreat to be held prior to the October committee of the whole meeting, and he is working with NASB to iron out those plans. That ends my report.
Okay, thank you, Doris. Is there a staff relations committee report?
Yes.
Charles, go ahead.
Okay, the Staff Community Relations Committee met Thursday noon, around noon, September 18th at the High School Media Center. Eric Book and I were attending. There were only very few staff that dropped in, and probably lack of sufficient coordination. We haven't gotten that worked out yet to get more people involved. We spoke about the needs of the HVAC systems in the high school and the necessity of getting it done before the play. One person was disappointed with the recent motivational speaker. We spoke about the possibility of having a survey done after we have speakers come in for our teachers to make sure that it's money well spent. And to also see that what the presenter may be able to improve on through the surveys of our teachers, and what the teachers are needing more of out of these speaking events to help motivate and guide them better. We discussed where we currently are on the fundraising for new marching band uniforms and brainstormed ideas of how to close the gap, like reaching out to the alums or the foundation to come up with funds from donations in the community. The marching band uniforms are older than most of our students. Also, new ones would save us greatly on dry cleaning fees when they can be washed. All the old ones had to be dry cleaned. They're very heavy and very hot on the kids. We enjoyed surveying the props and scenery for the upcoming musical Into the Woods.
Okay, thank you, Charles. Next up is the public forum, chance for public to speak. I did not receive any requests to speak tonight, so we will move on to discussion. First up is second reading of policy 5413, student interviews. Mr. Alexander.
So as we've been discussing, and this will be the last reading, and next month will be the actual action on this policy. We've been discussing the change to policy 5413 that guides administration on how law enforcement officials that interview students in the section referring to child abuse or neglect would read that in certain situations that involve these types of possible offenses, school personnel should be present and or monitoring, and that's the key there, is and or monitoring the interview in real time to ensure that the interview relates only to those matters. So in the past, as you all know, just catching everybody up again, we've made it mandatory that school personnel be in those meetings, but there has been some concern about whether or not all factual information is shared because school personnel is in the meeting. So this change allows for school personnel just to monitor it. We have made accommodations in all buildings for that to be able to happen with video surveillance and sound, so it can happen with principals right next door, monitor and make sure that that's what the interview is strictly about.
Okay, thank you. Next up, maps of buildings for local police department and fire crews. Mr. Alexander.
Yes, so along those lines, as you know, we've talked about maps before. We have a request from the local police department and fire department for updated maps of our buildings. I plan on providing them unless hearing otherwise from you as a board. It would be both digital and copy maps given to them, so they do have access to those maps and can use them in training, tabletop trainings within their departments as necessary, but they would be only for our local officials.
Okay. Next up, superintendent evaluation. So, thank you everybody for completing this year's evaluation on Mr. Alexander, and I did forward to the board the documents that compile all the data that was compiled by the NASB. I am going to just read a quick paragraph here from the executive summary that I think does a very good job of just summarizing the entire evaluation versus going word for word, question by question within that. So as in previous years, both the board and the superintendent agree that Superintendent Alexander continues to show exceptional leadership in board superintendent relations and board planning and management. The board appreciates the superintendent's ability to ensure a clear and effective plan is in place. Overall, the board and the superintendent agree in several areas, with a slight difference on educational leadership and organizational and cultural leadership as a recognized area of growth by both the board and superintendent. This is consistent with the last 3 years of evaluation. However, it should be noted that there has been growth in both areas. Educational leadership went from 5.09 to 5.71, and organizational and cultural leadership went from 5.61 to 5.78 over the past year. Specific areas of growth going forward include creating consistency across the district when developing expectations. When aligning this feedback with Superintendent Alexander's 25-26 goals, the board and superintendent should lean into the strength of board-superintendent relations to support the work being done under each of the goal categories. So, as you know, when we completed the evaluation, it was on the different types of pillars within that evaluation. One other note that I saw throughout the evaluation is there were no significant blind spots between how the board rated and how Jason rated himself. So I think that's a good sign there. So no blind spots would mean there was no significant difference between his rating and how the board rated. So overall, I felt, again, good process. Really nothing that really stood out that was of huge concern to myself. But obviously that can be up for discussion if we would like to do that. Otherwise, if there's any questions, let me know. Okay. All right, we will move on to the action portion. Start off with approval of the Beatrice Education Association as the exclusive bargaining agent for the district's non-supervisory certificated staff for the 26-28 contract year. Do I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 approve the Beatrice Education Association as the exclusive bargaining agent for the district's non-supervisory certificated staff for the 2027-28 contract year.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Brandon and Mr. Alexander.
So it's customary for the BEA to request recognition for bargaining a year in advance. That way it makes, it just ensures that the process is done, and that's one thing that can be checked off the list of things that has to be done in order for the bargaining session to take place. So this is something that we're used to. I'd recommend approving that request.
Okay. Any other comments? Seeing none, can I have your votes, please? And motion passes.
Is it showing book is,
Yeah.
it's showing off.
Maybe flip it down a way.
Still showing.
There
There we go.
we go. Okay. Now we're good. All right, next up, approval of superintendent's evaluation. Do I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 approve the superintendent's evaluation.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Brandon. And again, just going over, what we just discussed in the discussion portion. One other thing to add, I did meet with Jason here today, and we reviewed that. And again, no major issues between the two of us as well. So if there's no major concerns, then I would like to go ahead and approve that tonight. Okay, seeing none, can I have your votes, please? Motion passes. All right, moving on. Approval of resolution and appendix 1 to option enrollment policy. Do I have a motion?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 approve the resolution appendix 1 to the option enrollment policy.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Brandon. Mr. Alexander.
Okay, so 3 years ago, the legislature revamped sections 55 through 57 of the LB 705 and updated the option enrollment statutes. Under these new laws, a district generally cannot declare its entire special education program to be at capacity, Instead, a district must review and assess and option students' needs on a case-by-case basis and make an individualized determination of whether the district has the capacity to provide the needed services or accommodations for that student. So essentially, anytime we get an option enrollment request, if it's checked that that student has an IEP, we have to go through that and on a case-by-case basis. We can't just say that we're at capacity. So we do, Mrs. Corby Hoekstra, myself, in consultation with her staff, will review that. And then another one of these updates also requires a board to adopt a resolution prior to October 15th to declare a program, a class, or a school unavailable to option students for the next school year due to lack of capacity. We are not at capacity, as you can see in the numbers in front of you, so we do try to estimate, we look at our enrollment and try to estimate how many option students we could assimilate into our buildings if need be, or into our classes if need be. So that number there is an estimate. If we were at capacity, that's where we would essentially say, we would have the choice to say we are at capacity or full. Typically that's not been an issue. So really this is a formality that changed in state statute that we have to do every year before October 15th. And Doris has to read a great big long resolution.
We do? Oh. Whereas the school board is required by law to adopt by resolution policies and specific standards for acceptance or rejection of option enrollment applications by October 15th for the following school year. And whereas the school board has received and reviewed evidence and information submitted by the administration and other sources and made determinations thereon with respect to standards for acceptance or rejection, and with respect to the capacity of this school district to accept option enrollment students based upon available staff, available facilities, projected enrollment, and availability of special education programs for the following school year. And whereas the school board has determined that the educational interests of this school district would be best served by adoption of the resolutions and the policies specific standards herein contained. Now therefore be it resolved that the option enrollment policy presented to the school board as policy 5006 and appendix 1 to such policy 5006 should be and the same are hereby adopted, and any previous policy or interpretation or application of the option enrollment program which is or has been inconsistent with the policy 5006 and appendix 1 to such policy 5006 are repealed effective on the date of the passage of this resolution. Be it further resolved that all paragraphs, subparagraphs, and portions of words of this resolution of policy 5006 and appendix 1 to such policy 5006 are severable, and that in the event any of the same are determined to be invalid for any reason, such determination shall not affect the validity of any of the remainder of the same. Be it further resolved that policies and specific standards for acceptance or rejection of option enrollment application should be and are hereby adopted for application filed after adoption of this resolution and are hereinafter set forth.
Okay, thank you, Doris.
Do you want me to read more?
No, I think that's,
Oh,
That's it.
they need to take a journalism class.
It's a long,
So, it's more understandable.
all right, now that we have read all of the resolutions, can I have your votes, please? And motion and resolution passes. Okay, next up, approved quote from Prairie Mechanical to replace wrestling room compressor. Do I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 approve quote 24-1287 from Prairie Mechanical to replace the wrestling room compressor.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Brandon and Mr. Alexander.
Okay, so we have a unit that controls the wrestling room, and that obviously filters into the gym, the temperature in those two areas. The compressor is out, so right now it's not functioning. This unit is 24 years old, and like most of them at the high school now, they're all about 24 years old. So in fixing it, you have some choices. This one's a little bit different than some of the other ones because of the actual compressor being out. Option one, we can fix the 24-old unit for $8,391 with warranty on the compressor, and that is all. So there would be just limited warranty on the compressor for about a year, meaning something else could go wrong with the unit in another month, and then we'd be fixing the whole unit again and paying for it as well. Option two is to replace the entire unit for $22,634 with a 5-year compressor warranty and 1-year parts warranty on the entire unit. The difference is $14,234, which does sound like a lot of money, but this unit is in a difficult spot to get to in the building. It's kind of in a tucked away position cabinet, so it's going to require it to come out and a new unit to go in, so it is kind of difficult. So I apologize, we were discussing this tonight and not at a CAL meeting, but it came up and it's one that needs to get fixed. It's an 8-week lead time on the unit itself, on the equipment. So if we choose to replace it, and the ductwork also will have to be replaced as well, and changed out. So
Is that included in that cost?
that is included in that cost. Yep. And we would most likely use depreciation funds at this point in the budget cycle to pay for it, which we do have. Our depreciation funds a little over $1 million, so we do have the funds to pay for this project.
Okay, any questions? Do we need to amend the motion on which option, or are you,
My motion was to replace.
yes, okay, okay. I would agree. I think we need to replace versus spending the money and then it breaks down next year or in 3 months, 4 months. Any other discussion on this topic? Okay, seeing none, can I have your votes, please? Motion passes to replace. All right, next up, approve quote from Prairie Mechanical to repair a leak on the kitchen heat pump at Beatrice High School. Do I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 approve quote 251368 from Prairie Mechanical to repair a leak on the kitchen heat pump at Beatrice High School.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Brandon. Mr. Alexander.
Okay, this one's a little bit different not from the standpoint that it's still 24 years old, but from the standpoint of how it's actually broken. The compressor is still functioning. In analyzing the compressor, it's believed that it's functioning at an optimal level at this point. There's no reason to replace the entire unit. Essentially what happened is there's a Freon leak that was a little bit difficult to find, but they did find it, and it can be repaired. Parts could still be ordered for it, and I think that's an important thing for the public to hear, is that a lot of times with these units, as old as they are, the question mark becomes, can we get the parts for them? And it does so happen that we can get the parts where this unit is leaking to repair it. So the cost of repair for this particular unit is $5,012.38, which makes it $12.38 over the actual limit that board is required to approve. So I brought it to you in order to be able to approve it.
Okay, any questions? All right, seeing none, can I have your votes, please? And motion passes. All right, next up, discuss, consider, and take action on quotes for landscaping at the district office. Do I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 open discussion to talk about the bids presented and plan moving forward on the landscaping.
Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Brandon. Jason.
Okay, this we have talked about before, as you know. We did reach out and talk to a couple companies that we know that do landscaping, and basically we received 2 bids, one from Envision Landscaping, and that bid was broken out, and it's actually the least expensive of the 2 bids. So it's broken out into tear out, which was $3,950. That's tear out of the existing landscaping that we have. Over on the east side next to the Highway 77, there's a driveway circle, and it has a tree in it. that also includes a tear out of that, and then coming back with a river rock replacement. And that river rock's a little bit expensive right now, so it's $6,275 to tear that out and come back with a river rock replacement. Then, when you talk about being up close to the building, coming back with mulch, berm, different types of trees, and a drip line to water the trees, and a design that was $17,872, which brought the grand total of Envision's bid to $28,097. Okay? The other bid that we got was not broken out, and it was from Schmally Lawn and Landscape. The total project cost on that was $29,300. So when you look at the cost of this landscaping project that we've been talking about, that in my opinion does need to be done, but I'm only one opinion, you as the board make the decision. I think it would be wise to go ahead and work with the low bid on the tear out, so the $3,950, and the replacement of the circle drive with the river rock, because that's really going to be, in that area, that's probably going to be about as effective as anything to keep manicured and grow effectively and make the most sense to manicure in the future. And then we can come back and get bids further on putting sod up against the building and just having sod which will be much less expensive to A, install, and B, maintain moving forward. So it would be grass just like as the outside is now. And we can get that, I think we can still get that done at this juncture as to where we're at. But we would probably save ourselves in all reality in the cost of the actual project somewhere around $10,000, and numerous man hours and manicuring hours moving forward in the future just by having that be grass. So that's just my idea, but I'm certainly open to suggestions, and you guys are welcome to talk about it.
I'd be more for that idea instead of replacing it with, flowers and brush and all that stuff. Just sod, mow it.
Yeah, future maintenance and headache, because obviously it's probably not their top priority to be over here at the admin building, making sure it looks the nicest. Keeping up on the schools would be the better idea there.
I just don't think it's necessary to use, when there are so many needs that help students more than nice flowers. I think sod and
Yes.
mow and go.
Yep, I agree.
And there's nobody else that we can find to tear that out at all? I mean, that was it?
That's the only, well, those two were the only two that submitted. So, I mean, we could go back to the drawing board and try and get bids one more time. At this point, I think because of the nature of where we are in the season, we could delay ourselves too far and not get anything done. But tearing that out with the flagpole, the lights, and the electrical lines that are all in there, that's why I just think it's good to have a professional do that. We can definitely come back and see if there's bids for inserting the sprinklers. I know that, or inserting the sod. I know that Envision Landscape does not do that. They don't do sod, so it'll probably be someone else local that would be placing a bid on that.
Ready for a motion?
I amend my motion to approve the low bid from Envision Landscape to tear out the district office Circle Drive and office area and replace the Circle Drive area with river rock at a price of $10,225. Then seek bids to replace sod back in torn out area by building for up to $5,000 and ornamental trees at $1,775, not to exceed an overall total of $17,000.
Okay, thank you. We got an amended motion. Second? Charles seconds. Any other discussion on landscaping? All right, seeing none, can I have your votes please? And motion passes. All right, that ends our action items. Next up, Administrator's Report. We'll start with the high school update, Mr. Ford.
Good evening, everybody. Wanted to take a quick moment to provide a quick update on our updated programs that we're using, Freedom Friday and WASP, and how that aligns with our school improvement goals. As you remember, our goal is to have 97% or more of our students that have passing grades in all of their classes, and we've seen some encouraging growth in that direction. So far, during the first quarter, the high point of our first quarter, we had 142 students with one or more failing grades. As of this morning when I ran the report, that number has steadily dropped down to 92 students. That's significant improvement and reflects a real momentum towards our school-wide goal. We have not yet arrived, however, but we're encouraged by the progress that we've seen so far. Our second goal is to decrease the number of referrals year to year, depending on your cohort, and we're on track to have a significant reduction in referrals. However, it's still very early. Prototypically speaking, February and March are your hardest months, so I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. So anyways, we are utilizing a lot of different programs to try to encourage better student performance, such as the Oath of the Orange, our weekly video updates, our grade level assemblies, and just overall intentional support from our staff members on building our culture and setting those clear expectations for students. But like I said, we're encouraged by the results we've seen thus far. I want to give a huge shout out to our dedicated staff for making this progress possible. The teachers have been the consistent drumbeat in communicating, providing timely feedback, getting grades updated quickly, using WASP time effectively to help students get back on track, and these intervention efforts, along with collaboration during our team time and shared commitment to these high expectations, have genuinely made a huge difference. One other thing that's worth noting that's kind of a fun update, we've been intentional about our Freedom Friday Lounge, and keeping that engaging for students who have earned the lounge expectation. Last Friday we had a dodgeball tournament in the O-Zone, and that was a lot of fun. Kids were excited about that, and I believe it was a huge hit. It brings great energy and excitement to the end of your school week. So we don't have school this Friday, but next Friday we've already talked with kids. We're going to have a basketball knockout tournament in the O-Zone, and then some kids are still out in the commons area getting to work on stuff, but the kids that are wanting to participate and get moving around get an opportunity to celebrate their hard work and have an opportunity to go compete with their peers. So overall, we're seeing consistent improvement both academically and culturally. The staff's effort and the students' response has been outstanding. We're going to continue building upon that success as we move into the second quarter and on into the second semester. So,
Perfect, thank you.
I would like to add, as a former high school educator, I appreciate you and the staff's focus on grades and education. I think sometimes other things get a lot of attention, but really that's what they're there for, is to get an education. So thank you.
you bet. Like I said, at 142 to 92, that didn't just happen. You know, that's the staff. They've been working really, really hard. So I'm extremely proud of their efforts, and I can't wait to report where we're at in December, because we've got a big goal. So keep working.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, next up, superintendent report.
On that note, as I put my superintendent update a while back, some really great things happening in the district, you know, from all the activities that our kids are doing, as we mentioned, to the success we're seeing in the classroom and academics, staff that are presenting, like Dr. Watts in different areas on the state level, and staff that are being recognized. Just it really is good to see great things happening at BPS. So I did have a list of things I was going to go through, but I just think it's better to stay broad and thank everybody for what they're doing, and that way we don't miss anybody, because there are a tremendous amount of great things that are happening within our school system. One of the things I will highlight was the true efforts that our principals made to reach out and our teachers made to reach out to parents during parent-teacher conferences. Just real quick, I just want to say thank you for their hard work because it did result in more success. The elementary had 95.93% attendance at kindergarten through 5th grade, which tonight is preschool. Tonight and tomorrow night, I think, are preschool conferences. So they're still in the midst of that, but that's a great number. The middle school saw a 7% increase over last year, so that's terrific. And the high school, over a 20% increase in parent-teacher conference attendance from a year ago. And that is unheard of. It's unprecedented, and it's a lot due to the efforts of Mr. Ford leading the charge with the teachers, and so that's a great thing to have that kind of involvement. Now, it sets the bar high, and as he said, there's still more of a goal, and so we'll see what the spring brings, but what a tremendous improvement. So thank you for your work in that regard.
The difference between third and first place was 3 families. So, pretty tight. It was a pretty tight race, so.
The challenges that the students and the families had in front of them, I think, really paid off in terms of getting people there, and so hopefully that continues. And thank you to our families that made that a priority, because it should be a priority just as much as all those activities and other things that we pursue, especially at that level. So tremendous fall so far. It's hard to believe that 9 weeks is about over. Will be this Thursday, but it's been good. So thank you to our staff and administration for what they're doing.
Good, thank you. Any questions, comments for Jason? All right, seeing none, we will be going into executive session today to prevent the needless injury to the reputation of an individual. Do I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 enter into executive session to prevent the needless injury to the reputation of an individual.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Brandon. Your votes, please. And we will be